Laughter is one of the strongest and most uncontrollable human emotions. It's written exactly how it sounds. It's a repeatable pattern of H-A-H-A. And it reveals your biases because you cannot hold back what makes you laugh. And when an audience does it together, it makes a beautiful sound. Different styles, different pitches, all coming together to make a song of happiness. And laughter allows you to learn. It frees and opens your mind to accept something new. And when you laugh once, you get the giggles. But what about hate? Hate is one of the strongest and most uncontrollable emotions as well. Hate is almost written like ha-ha, but its pattern is broken. H-A-T-E. Hate also reveals your biases. And when an audience hates together, it turns into a mob. And from a mob, it devolves into violence. Hate prevents one to learn. It freezes and closes the mind. And when you hate once, you easily hate again. Is the analytics of what makes people laugh the same analytics to make people hate? And if so, can one use the other to change? I was born colorblind. Some people will call it a disability. I think of it as a superpower. Not one color outshines the other. Every color is the same, but secretly, my favorite color is gray. And I always get the same silly questions. They ask, what does black and white look like to you? And I always smile and say, 50 Shades of Gray? And how do you know when to stop at a traffic sign? And I'm always like, top, stop, middle, go faster, bottom, go with the flow. And they also tell me that there's glasses now that you can wear to stop color blindness. Why would I do that? That is my superpower. And then they say, you know what color frames would you get if you got those glasses? Really? Really? If I got, how would I, anyway, spoiler alert, I will never know. In September of 2008, when I was 35, my job was data science, and I was living in Hong Kong. My boss asked me to travel to Islamabad, Pakistan, to determine how Al-Qaeda would come and attack convoys in Afghanistan. I was excited, but I was terrified. My goal was to look for patterns to protect humans from other humans. My Pakistan coworkers were amazing. They risked their lives, showing me around, protecting me, taking me from meeting to meeting. And Pakistanis believed technology and creativity was going to change their destiny. We did discover a pattern, by the way. The cost of fruit prices along the convoy route revealed impending attacks. Locals didn't want to tell you if there was a terrorist attack. If they did, they would be killed. So what they would do is, if a cost of a mango went from 10 cents to $2, spiked, then we knew attack was pending. And they were trying to make as much money as they could to protect their family and get out of town. We knew something was about to go down. And ironically, when all this was happening between meetings and working there in Pakistan, my coworkers inspired me to start doing stand-up comedy. Genzib kept telling me, you're so funny. And he kept showing me viral clips over and over of a comedian called Russell Peters. He's like, you're just like him. And the last night I was there, a Friday night, after everyone had broken fast, after Ramadan, I performed my first little open mic. It was in the restaurant of the Marriott. And they were a great crowd, by the way. Everyone laughed. Of course, I think they just had pity on me because I was a white guy in Pakistan doing a comedy show in a Marriott restaurant. But it was great. And the next day, I packed my bags, said goodbyes. I told them I would see them again, inshallah, and I left. I left my hotel at 6 p.m. to catch my flight. At 8 p.m., the hotel was bombed, killing 63 people. Everyone in the hotel was breaking their fast. The bombing wasn't about me. It was about the invaders. I get it, I'm part of that. But why kill the families that lived in Pakistan? It was their home. The ones that were dead, they believed in the future. The ones that killed them believed in hate. Hate, next to laughter, is an uncontrollable human emotion. Okay, I jumped ahead. Let me give you a little background. I grew up in a rural city in Alabama. I was the only white kid. All my friends were black. And it made me very ashamed of being white. It was a location where they filmed the Oscar-nominated movie Mississippi Burning. After all of the atrocities that my black friends and their families and their grandmothers and their grandparents had endured due to my skin color, in the past of my skin color, that film really brought it out. And the shame became very personal for me. My dad's Piggly Wiggly grocery store is out of frame in nearly every shot of that film. In college, I fell in love with stats. Stats at that time was the gold standard of math. If you said anything with stats, argument stopped. You put a bar chart in it, you won. Pie chart, over. The great-great-grandparent to artificial intelligence. And then in 2004, when I was 31, my boss asked me to travel to South Africa in the name of data science. I arrived at OR Tambo International Airport in Joburg at the exact same time that Mandela had arrived, triumphantly saying that they had gotten the World Cup. Let me tell you something. There was some singing, and there was some dancing, and there was some laughing, and there was everybody of all skin colors all coming together. And just think, I was worried prior to arriving here, before I touched down, they would be just like Alabama, divided, shamed, broken. But I hadn't heard of the Truth and Reconciliation trials. The Truth and Reconciliation trials had South Africa allowed those who had attacked and killed those and basically in a trial setting was able to talk to their victims and ask them to forgive them, and they would get amnesty. South Africans believed technology and creativity was going to change their destiny, not pain, not hate. And so I fell in love with the Rainbow Nation, and I moved to Cape Town, and I lived there for 2 years. I began to see that data science and stand-up comedy over time has the same pattern. Now, the formula for stand-up comedy is simple. All people want to belong. All people want to laugh. All people want to be loved. But I thought, that's the pattern for that. What's the pattern to hate? Bias. Stand-up comedy always showcases the comedian's bias. I don't like that. I like this. Why is it that people do this? Why do people do that? That is a stand-up comedian's usual toolbox. But as a data scientist, I always try to search out biases and get rid of them for purer results. I tried to find direct correlations to racism and hate speech by mining multiple data sources, health records, poverty indexes, mortality, prison records. But guess what? All of this data is already kind of peppered with bias. Google searches around racial slurs are almost impossible to patternize. And sometimes the lack of data is the problem. There's not enough minority viewpoints or perspectives. We need niche data sets that speak to different lifestyles, different skin colors, different sexes, all of that to be able to bring it in. And sometimes too much data is the problem, like the Boston housing data set. This data set, before it was banned, was a standard, and it basically had data around mid-1970s Boston housing prices. Sounds innocent enough, but there was a little column named B. This column equals black proportion of population for pricing. This parameter is a model that promotes systematic racism. It's interesting to overlay the data around hate speech and hashtag bullying based on geographic areas, especially during political elections. It's funny how they try to radicalize to get the people to vote, because fear makes people vote and hate makes people vote. If you investigate genocide or any worldwide conflict 6 months in advance, look at the comments being said on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, on all social media. Other factors include rhetoric, government rhetoric, inflation. Another powerful indicator is to buy tickets to a stand-up comedy club. You can actually take special note of the jokes that they talk about racial inequality, race relations, and some of the issues that they're facing of the day. It's a perfect sample size for the population. Noise. Just note that all hate is not hate. It's hurtful, but it's often created by trolls. Trolls cause this noise. There are people that find it necessary, they think it's fun to create anarchy, to be able to just throw something to the wind, destroy everything. Trolling causes data noise, but also causes gullible viewers and consumers to believe the comments. The worry from my perspective as a data scientist is that we could actually flaw machine learning algorithms from this noise, because these algorithms are like newborn babies. They eat and feed off everything, anything. They learn from good data. They learn from bad data. They learn from hate. As humans, though, we can relearn. We can change based on our experiences. We can read a new book. We can watch a new film documentary. We can make a new friend. Machine learning algorithms have difficulty discussing and dismissing past experiences. The aggregate of the past is what creates the now for them. Can we use the analytics of laughter to break the analytics of hate? I'm just going to put it out there. Hypothesis, yes. Yes, we can. How? Make people laugh. What you want to make sure is that laughter is the key to everything. What it allows you to do is, there is no gray when it comes to hate. And until I see my friends again, inshallah. Thank you.